Hello and welcome to Cosmere Conundrum. I'm your host Nemo,
And I'm Roman.
and today we are talking about chapters 14 to 16 of Mistborn, the Well of Ascension. I keep forgetting the name of the book.
Congratulations. Better than last week. These chapters were better than the last two.
I mean, we went on an half an hour long rant at the end of the last record.
I can't even remember what it was about. Was it about any chance about the contract?
It was about the control. It was all about the mysteries, the compiling mysteries of the
Yeah, the
book.
too many mysteries.
Anyway, so better chapters this time around. Let's see how they go. Yeah, chapter 14. We begin with
we begin where we left
yeah.
off. That's the thing.
Yeah.
We begin where we left off. And it's immediately like, yes, yep, keeper.
Yeah.
You immediately get the air of mystery and annoyance.
Yeah, I mean, the mystery doesn't last very long. We start with her breaking her
it's more that,
bonds.
in my opinion, keepers in general are just a little bit mysterious.
Yeah, that's fair. Especially like from what we learn later on. She's also pretty highly respected, which is interesting. Anyway,
Interesting, but in a way, it makes some sense. She'd be a lot more useful as a steward than Sazed would be.
Oh yeah, 100%.
She can actually advise.
Yeah,
Sazed can talk about that religions for hours.
Yeah, and religions can be great,
but considering religions for bands, it's rather useless.
Yeah.
Whereas Tindwall actually has useful stuff.
Yeah, and
she can instruct a young nobleman to actually act like a nobleman.
Yeah, and when we start off, the first thing that we see is that she bluffed about Wynn being there, just so because she wanted to talk to Ellen.
Yeah, it also does roughly place where this takes place. It's right as Vin leaves to go off for the Mist Ghost stuff. Yeah, right that is when this the beginning of this chapter takes place.
Yeah. Anyway, she does say that if she wanted to kill Ellen, she would have done it already before he can get the guards.
Fair enough.
I mean, that's logical. She's a ferrochemist, makes sense. Then she starts studying Ellen and starts commanding him to stand straight. Ellen.
Yes, as I was listening to this chapter for the first time as I was delivering posts, and I immediately started talking more straight.
Yeah, I mean, she does have a presence about her, which we'll see throughout this chapter.
Well, she literally says that it's a good thing you now have she finally says it's a good thing you now have a keeper who actually knows how to push.
Yeah, pretty much.
And like says it, we need to learn to grow a backbone.
Yeah, I mean, she calls out says it, which is fair.
Which is fair. Like, it is true. I get the feeling like the whole thing with the council bullshit that Sazed has to deal with. It feels like Sazed just didn't push back.
No, I don't think so either.
He just accepted what clearly was a punishment. There is, considering how few keepers there are, him being in a random village teaching the villagers how to farm is a punishment.
Yeah, pretty much. Then Ellen tries to protest, but the terrorist woman tells him to be assertive and speak with certainty. And
yeah, and I immediately knew where this was going because it's very typical. It's very much a case of this is basically dealing with one of Ellen's biggest character flaws, which is his hesitation.
His hesitation, his nonchalantness. That's something that he has basically acquired. Yeah, he has acquired through his rebellious nature against his father, who also pushed him, but in a negative sort of way. Something that he didn't really want to associate himself with, which is why he's the way he is.
Well, yeah, and by the time he started getting interested in it, Straff had given up.
Yeah, pretty much. Then Ellen finally demands to know what she is doing, and we learn her name, which is Tyndall, who is a keeper and an acquaintance of Caesar. And this is also where we begin to see why she is here, as we talked about, that she's here to teach Ellen to be a king. And
yeah, and she basically starts insulting him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like she says, your people think you are a fool.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, he has bugger all respect in his own assembly.
Yeah.
The crew made a plan all on. I think the only one who might actually have respect for him might be Vin. That might be it.
I think Clubs has some amount of respect for him as well.
Clubs and Hammer have some respect, but it's more Clubs is you can't really tell with Clubs.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, as we see even in the later chapter, he does show some deference, not a lot, obviously, because still Ellen is not commanding enough.
His bluntness helps a lot in that regard.
Yeah,
and much. Ham is clearly a friend at this point.
Yeah, and she goes on to say that while Ellen has good ideas, he doesn't have the presence of a leader, and without it, no one will listen to him. And which is why she is here, because her expertise is biographies.
You can laugh. You can just put it in the words. I am very sleepy.
I can see that.
I am so tired, and I do not know why.
It's fine. We'll get through it quicker today.
We won't. Let's be honest. We won't.
It's fine.
No, but I did like this. Thing like it's all true, and honestly, I've pointed out before. Ellen has made mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
His assembly is a badly organized assembly.
Yeah.
It's an even numbered body with no defined speaker, which is too small to actually organize stuff.
Yeah.
Where he's a member of the body and not above the body.
Yeah. He has placed himself as their equal, and which is something obviously that is bringing
it fits with who he is, but it's a mistake.
Yeah.
What he effectively what he should have done is just done the 8-8-8 thing: 8 nobles, 8 merchants, 8 scar, and then make himself the speaker.
Yeah.
In that he leads every session, and he doesn't have a vote unless it's a tie.
Yeah, that would have been the ideal case in this. Yeah.
So he gets if it's a 12-12 vote, he gets the final vote to decide what actually happens.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
But yeah, I mean, she calls Ellen out quite a few times, and finally she asks Ellen if he accepts her instructions, and Ellen agrees, because Ellen also knows that what is happening in the assembly is kind of his fault, and he wants to be a bit more like assertive. He wants to protect the scar first and foremost, which is something that he will only do.
Ellen Licious, he read every book available on the subject, and she likes actions of great value. It's more application has greater value.
Yeah,
it's great that you've learned all of these things, but if you can't apply them, they're useless.
Yeah, you know those things theoretically, but you don't have the real world experience of applying those things, which is what bringing you down. Anyway, this is where Vin returns, and Tyndall immediately knows that Vin has returned, which is also what surprises Vin. Anyway,
yeah, which indicates she's using something to increase her senses anyway. She's using tin basically.
Yeah, yeah. Also, she just might.
Vin is quiet, but yeah.
She also might be more attentive of her surroundings, more so than a regular person, obviously. And Finn is immediately suspicious of her, which I mean fits Finn's characters, but yeah. She places herself between Ellen and Tyndall just to protect.
She's immediately like, I'm protecting Ellen.
Yeah.
Must protect.
Anyway, she asks Tyndall why she's here, and Tyndall doesn't really answer Vin's question and goes to leave. To which Ellen then asks Ham to give her a room in the palace.
Yeah, to be fair, she also pointed out, well, took your king a few minutes to ask that question.
Yeah, I mean, Vin is definitely more direct than Ellen, so makes sense.
Oh, absolutely, there's no doubt about that. And it's like, I like Tyndall's first advice towards Ellen. First proper advice. Stop saying which is correct.
Yeah, I mean something.
If you say constantly, you sound uncertain.
Yeah, makes sense. Something that even I have to learn throughout this podcast, because if you listen to the earlier episodes, there are way too many ums and ers.
I don't even know about myself, but I just ramble anyway.
It's fine. People.
I feel like my ums typically come when I have to look something up. At which point I start umming.
Yeah, it's fine. Things happen. Anyway, after Tyndall leaves.
Yeah, of course she lives. I mean, she might die. It's this series, but you never know.
Anyway, Vin says that she doesn't like Tyndall, but then Ellen and Vin just laugh it off, saying Vin doesn't really like anyone when she meets them.
Yeah, and it's like, well, you like me at first sight? That just proves you're a terrible judge of character.
Which again comes back later on.
And it's a purely joking manner. You can tell because Vin immediately starts smiling as well. Mm-hmm. And I love this dynamic.
Yeah.
They can tease each other without issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But only Ellen is allowed to tease Vin.
Fair. Because Vin's defense mechanism comes on whenever someone else does it. Because again, she's not really as trusting of others as she is of Ellen, which also comes back later on in this chapter. Vin then asks Ellen about the meeting, and Ellen goes on to say about it went well, but Vin notices...
It went well, but we get into the whole thing of I still don't get why the crew was united on this, but it definitely shouldn't have been.
Yeah, I think as we discussed...
It felt too one-sided.
Yeah, as we discussed, it was more to show the Ellen...
It was too much to show. They could have still shown that Ellen has no control over these meetings, even with the crew not agreeing on a single plan.
Yeah, that is true. I think the crew being united is something that I don't think makes much sense. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Anyway, they talk about how the idea that the crew presented is probably better than Ellen's idea, but Vin counters it, saying that his idea is definitely way better because obviously it is for the Scar more so than their idea. And Vin assures him that the plan would work despite all they have to face to execute it.
It's a logical plan in this situation.
Yeah, definitely.
More so than let's surrender to one person.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Ellen isn't convinced and mentions how the members of the crew sort of have changed since Kelsier died and how Kelsier encouraged them in a way he cannot, which Finn immediately again counters him, saying that Kelsier taught her about standing up and doing what's right, and something that even Ellen is doing now, and so he just shouldn't give up the city, no matter what the crew says, basically, and which finally cheers Ellen up. And yeah, you can see that their relationship has progressed quite a bit in the past year, and they're both acting like a shield for the other, like they're supporting each other in a way that builds them up rather than just keeps them at the same level, you know. So yeah, it's good to see, I would say.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
unfortunately, once they get over the whole, we'll mention Kelsier again. We must mention his name at least once per part.
I think it's been pretty much.
Then we get into the Vin teases Ellen right back with regards to the character judging thing, and then Vin doesn't tell Ellen of the Mistspirit.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh god,
you were doing so good.
And it's like, and I know why it's being done, because we need some form of secrecy between the characters, because conflict doesn't mean I have to like it.
Yeah, anyway,
this is also making me wonder, did nobody ever give the logbook to Ellen to read? Especially what's coming in chapter 60. So. Did anyone ever think to give that thing to him?
I don't think so, given he doesn't know anything about it.
Which makes no sense. It's like Ellen is someone who would read it and would notice the things that Vin is noticing in that thing.
Yeah.
We'll get to it in chapter 16, but it bothers me.
Yeah.
Because Ellen is the one person of this group who would be able to spot that.
Yeah, especially like given he might be able to show the inconsistencies that the teachings of the ministry might have from the logbook, and he may be able to figure those things out better than anyone else can because they don't know it.
But yeah, well,
anyway,
basically nothing really happens for the next few minutes, literally.
I mean, they talk about the deepness and then
we get into a long section which is basically just what did the ministry actually teach, and it was nothing. It might as well come down to nothing new, basically.
Yeah, they basically taught about the differences between the Scar and nobility and how the nobility is special because they helped Lord Ruler and yada yada yada. But it's everything that we already knew and nothing really of consequence. This
is mostly a way of going with, okay, this book does need a reminder of what the deepness is and what the supposed Lord Ruler did and everything.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is that no one really knows what deepness looks like. That is the most interesting.
Yeah. Which is interesting, and I don't know if it's actually. I remember something about famine in the last book.
It was a blight upon the land. I think
A
even in
blight,
the
which makes sense why people couldn't fight it.
yeah, it was very natural or supernatural in a way that it was natural.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, Vin then shares her worry that she thinks that the deepness might return someday, and Ellen tries to cheer her up, but
Ellen has a point.
Yeah.
In that she's worrying about something like this. I don't think she mentions that the mist. She thinks the mist is coming earlier. She doesn't mention that.
No, it's not mentioned in this chapter. No.
That's something other people would notice.
Yeah, especially I don't think. I mean, it might also be that in Lutherdale, because it's so crowded, the mists, while they are coming early, they're not coming too early compared to the outskirts.
Yeah, but it would still be something that would be noticeable. Because if the mist is coming, if the mist is already there as the sun has set, and not starts coming in as the sun has set, that's a difference, and people would notice that straight away.
Yeah, definitely so.
Especially as we see in the next chapter, the people who are so deeply afraid of the mist.
Yeah, that is some. Yeah, we will get to it. Finn doesn't really. Again, Finn's thoughts wander, and she thinks about the flaws in Lord Ruler's story and how the hero of ages was meant to release the power to defeat the deepness, but Lord Ruler took it and still defeated the deepness, which doesn't make sense. So
yeah, and to be fair, prophecy is prophecy, and it's never fully understandable.
Oh yeah, I mean, to be fair, we don't even know what exactly the prophecy was.
No, I don't think we know the exact lot. We know most of it, I think.
We know most of it. I think
it doesn't make much sense because it almost feels too literal to be a prophecy.
Yeah, exactly. Which fair enough.
And then we get to this lovely thing of because Vin isn't basically the only descriptions of outside Lutherdale so far we've really gotten is from Zayas. It's good to have a reminder. Yeah, no, the sun is red in this world, and the plants are not green.
Yeah, and again, just like last book, where Vin was extremely suspicious that how the plants could be green. Now Ellen is extremely.
Now it's Ellen whilst Vin fully believes it, and I like how Vin paid attention. To things like Zayas has said about how the legends, plants were green.
Yeah, we also learned that the sun turned red in the first few years of Lord Ruler's ascent, which interesting to think about.
Interesting. Because you'd think that it obviously has something to do with like the deepness and all that. That makes the most sense.
Yeah, but also that it didn't change overnight. It took it a while to change, which means it was a continuous process.
Which makes sense, and that explains why the plants could adapt.
Yeah.
If it had been overnight, plants wouldn't have adapted.
Yeah, so it took them quite a while to again. Plants don't adapt that fast, but yeah, makes sense that it did.
Magically supported evolution is magically supported evolution.
Yeah.
What I also like is Ellen just musing like, why not purple or blue plants? Which is a similar question to humans asking like, why are the plants green? Why not any other color before you know what photosynthesis is?
Yeah, I mean, also depends really on like your atmosphere and the constituents of atmosphere and stuff like that.
I mean, this is mainly a thing of, these people know a lot of things. Like, some of their sciences are very advanced. Some are very far behind.
Oh yeah. I mean, still, again, it's a fantasy world. Fantasy worlds are usually a mix of technologies. So.
Well, yeah, but they clearly know, like, keepers know a lot about how the mind works, for obvious reasons. Yeah. Biology is not an area where they're very good in.
I don't think they ever had the.
Oh god! Did Zayas mention? I think Zayas mentioned something about crop rotation.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, crop rotation. You have to discover crop rotation to have civilization, right? I mean, that's.
Well, I think it might be like the problem is crop rotation went through multiple things, and I think it's a medieval development. One of the most. I think it's the 4-way rotation is like a medieval invention.
Yeah, 3-way or 4-way rotations is very very new, but like 2-way rotations we needed to discover.
Obviously, people have been using that for ages, but it's more a thing of if he needs to start explaining that to the Scar, do they even know about crop rotation in general? Which would honestly
they would.
It would help explain why it's so difficult to grow food even more. If they're constantly exhausting all available land.
Yeah, that would make sense. Anyway.
But yeah.
Anyway, then
we finally go to something actually important, and we get to great, here's the Converse bullshit again.
Yeah, and Ellen asks about Ursa if Vin talked to her sir, and Vin mentions how Chandra can't use elemancy, and that may help her narrow down the search. She does get the feeling whether Ellen can be trusted or not, but she stops herself, choosing to trust Ellen and be wrong.
I mean, we know Ellen can be trusted because he has his own POV.
I mean, that's
it would be stupid.
To be fair, that's an out of word
it would be
expression. In terms,
yes, of course. It's also just like, I mean, test him.
Feels like it, yeah.
It feels like it's one of the things that, yeah, great character moment of having her trust someone. But I could trust and love someone deeply in this scenario and still be paranoid enough to test.
Fair. I mean, again, I don't think there is a way to test Ellen, unless, like, I don't know, unless Ellen was a secret element, so that we didn't know. But yeah,
okay. It's just one of those things where could have just not told him immediately about the whole can't be soothed thing, then command him to do something with a very powerful push.
Yeah.
And that would be enough. And then explain about soothing, and that she was scared. She wanted to see if it actually worked on him.
Yeah, and I
something
think,
like that.
Yeah. I do think Ellen would have been up for even the experimentation as well, because I mean he knows
Vin knows Vin is paranoid. He fully accepts that Vin is paranoid, so it makes sense that she'd be terrified.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, he understands she has gigantic trust issues.
Yeah, pretty much. Which, yeah.
But what I do like is Vin saying like that she won't make the same mistake Kelsey did.
Yes.
Mate, with regards to Mare. Admittedly, Kelsey was right to not understand anything that was going on because he didn't know copper clouds could be penetrated.
Yeah. I mean, he was working with the information that was available to him, and Will is working with the information that is available to her. It's similar situation, to be fair. Anyway,
yeah,
they hug it out again, and
yeah, and then we get into the thing of Alan say, I don't think it's any of the crew. Vin just thinks of, you don't know how good they can be, and I'm just here sitting like, they can't be that good. They'd have to have the memories. Just if they gain the memories of the person, it would help so much with this.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. Yeah, because
it's just one of the things. It makes no, even if you observe someone for months, you still can't know everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
All it needs is just saying, like, also saying, like, when we take a body, we gain at least partial understanding of their memories. Yeah. It is not perfect, but it is enough for us to base ourselves on. Yeah, that would help a lot.
Yeah, that would have been important. Anyway, this is when Ellen also says that he has alerted Ham and Demo, and Ham knew what it was already.
To be fair, it's more that he thought they had to, the moon knew about the bones, and therefore Ham had to know about the bones. And Ham has been around Renew.
Yeah.
And he also knew about Calandra, so it makes sense that he knew exactly what it meant. Yeah,
so Ham knows that there is a spy, at least in the palace. Yeah. Anyway, then Ellen returns to his work, and Vin looks at the mist, saying that she will figure out its secret, and goes to meet her sir as the chapter ends.
Yeah, and she will not fear the mist, which means that bit of paranoia is gone until the next time she encounters the mist spirit.
Yeah,
at which point it'll come roaring right back.
Pretty much. Anyway, in the epigraph, Quan then says that he believed Elendil was the hero of ages, and so he traveled with him in the journey. And this is why it was inevitable that Elendil would discover Quan's betrayal. Which, I mean, fair. you believed in him, and then
it's not Quan's betrayal. It's what he's saying here is that he didn't tell Elendil that Quan believed he was the hero of ages. It was just an inevitability that Elendil would find out about it as they traveled together.
Yeah, that also makes sense. Yeah.
That is what he's saying. That's what he's saying with, it was inevitable that Elendil himself would find out what I believed him to be.
Okay.
That is what that means. It means that Elendil is the hero of ages in Quan's opinion.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, these epigraphs are not really saying a lot this time around.
They're not, because they're in full-on chronological order, and we're technically still in the intro.
That is true. We have still just met Elendil, and we are going on a journey with him.
We are only now learning that Quan traveled with Elendil.
Anyway, chapter 15.
Chapter 15.
Says a time.
Time progression! It's been more than a week now.
Yeah.
Admittedly, we technically don't know exactly when when in Valentine says it is compared to the Lutherdale plotline.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But I fully expect Sazed to appear in the next few chapters in Lutherdale at this point.
Yeah, probably by the end of this part he will be there. Oh, makes sense.
Yeah. That might be literally the thing that happens as Sazed arrives.
Yeah.
That might literally when this part ends.
Yeah, that makes sense. We begin with Sazed, who is traveling with Marsh and sleeping beneath the trees. And one morning when Sazed wakes up, he finds Marsh gone. And
Marsh is just bugging off.
Yeah.
For some reason.
With no explanation at all. Anyway.
No explanation, not even a note, and I'm just like, great. I did like the constant reminder of Marsh did not return. Marsh did not return. It made a lot of sense for Sazed to be thinking this.
Yeah, I mean, Sazed waits for a few hours, I would guess.
Sazed basically does maintenance.
Yeah. Waiting around for Marsh.
This definitely feels like Sazed taking his time deliberately.
Yeah, he was waiting for Marsh, makes sense. And when Marsh doesn't return for quite a while, then Sazed leaves towards Lutherdale, saying that Marsh will find his way. He then arrives outside a village and figures out.
And we get a bit of an explanation of how like maps in the mines work.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, yeah, we're in Urbane. Cool. That name has no meaning whatsoever. It almost feels Italian in origin, but also not.
Wasn't there a house Urbane in the Great Houses in Lutherdale?
Not spelled that way, I don't believe.
Urbain, I believe. I am not remembering properly.
It wouldn't, and we would have gotten a notification that this was part of that family because they were one of the Great Houses.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense. Anyway, this is where we learn that your memories deplete and your copper mind isn't really perfect. Once you take memories out of it and then you put again back in it, there are chances you won't remember exactly what it says. So,
which is exactly how memory works. It's what I mentioned about how the keeper science regarding the mind is extremely good.
Yeah, and then he starts going towards the village, and while nearing the village, Sazed notices that the livestock goats are roaming freely without any herdsman.
Any supervision, which is odd considering to the south there is starvation.
Yeah, and
at which point there would be bandits, so why isn't the livestock being watched?
Exactly. And he gets somewhat suspicious, but not paranoid yet. What makes him paranoid is that the moment he reaches the village, he is immediately met with the scent of dead bodies. He then goes into the village and finds it quiet and deserted, but well maintained, nothing suspicious at all.
Yeah, the description from his memory was good.
Yeah, pretty much.
It is a quaint village of houses built for slaves.
Yeah, it's just hovels over hovels. And then he moves in the direction of the scent, just to discover many corpses.
That there are bodies all over bodies in places, and every one of the hovels has corpses.
Yeah. The main difference being that the bodies that are outside the hovels are they don't really have any obvious sign of death, whereas those inside the hovel have clearly died of starvation.
The obvious connection here is to be made with the guy from Sazed's first chapter, who's also died randomly. Yeah. That is the main connection you should draw here. That one is not difficult to spot.
And
what is worrying is just that everyone in the hovels died of starvation, it seems.
Yeah. What is another interesting thing is Sazed notices
starvation and dehydration as well.
Yeah, Sazed notices a pile of human bones that have been chewed upon, which obviously suggests cannibalism. Which
it doesn't suggest it. We get outright cannibalism.
That's later on here.
It's not difficult. This is not suggesting cannibalism when it is blatant evidence of cannibalism.
Fair. But also that tells you how desperate these Ska were, especially inside the hovels. Sazed tries to find an answer for this strange occurrence, thinking it might be a plague, and while he's doing this,
Sazed doesn't want to think the worst straight away, which makes sense.
To be fair, that is true, but also to be fair, at this point, Sazed has heard that mists come out during the day, and he did see someone just randomly. He did see someone randomly die.
Yeah, but the whole thing is he wouldn't assume that this was the mist straight away. That doesn't make even this wouldn't track. The bodies might be an indication. It's the thing that people died inside the hovels that is confusing.
That is true. Yeah, that makes sense.
The Scar are many things, but they are not afraid of the sun.
Yeah, fair. Given they have to work all day in the sun, yeah, makes sense. While he's trying to find an answer, he hears something or someone from one of the hovels and finds a man who is almost at the brink of death, though not particularly starving, and we learn why he was the one not particularly starving. And as Sazed approaches the man is afraid, and Sazed offers him food, to which he recoils, saying that he has food, and he goes on to chew on one of the arms of one of the corpses.
Yeah, and I've already told you this part is basically a horror.
Yeah,
this is a horror story.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, you have
this could be the lead in towards this could be the lead in towards a larger horror story or like a zombie thing.
Yeah,
that is how creepy this gets.
Yeah,
because it is creepy.
Yeah, you have the unease over unease building up with well, first of all, the goats, then the scent of corpses, then finding corpses.
Yeah, the free roaming goats, the bodies lying all over the place, the scent, the bodies in the hovels. One survivor who is able to tell you about some things.
Yeah,
it's all very horror.
Yeah, Sazed then obviously thinks that the Scar deathly afraid to go outside in the mist, and asks the person why he didn't leave, why he stayed inside, and the man says that some tried. So few of them were able to get away, while others just dropped it and died.
Yeah, and I have a theory about who was able to survive.
There is an interesting before we get into the theory, there is an interesting thing though. He says that some dropped but then got up and left, which is interesting.
Yes, well, my whole thing is the people who managed to escape, elementic potential. That makes the most sense to me. It's because we know how that the mist likes people with elemency.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So to me, this script, those might have been people with elementic potential. Might not have snapped yet, and might have activated it yet, but some of them might have had the potential. Especially with the sheer amount of like sex people have been having over a millennium.
Yeah.
It makes the most sense. And especially in the early days, but there must have been a lot of interbreeding between Scar and nobility.
That makes sense.
Before the ministry and Inquisition had a strong control over it.
Yeah. What about those that dropped and then got up?
I don't know.
Yeah, we essentially have three different groups. We have those who didn't.
Those who immediately escaped.
Yeah. Those who
died. This could be... we don't know how many really, right?
No, we don't have an exact number of how many.
Could be those who managed to just walk away straight away had already access to their powers. Those who fell and got up then got access to their powers.
Yeah. So do you think they're snapping during that period?
They might be snapping because of the trauma.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's when the mist leaves them alone.
That would make sense. Yeah. Anyway, Sazed asks about the connection between those who lived and those who died, but the Scar doesn't really answer. And Sazed uses his ferrocami to pull the man out from the hovel, at which point the Scar again asks the same question that Sazed has been getting from everyone at this point, which is why the Lord Ruler abandoned them.
Yeah, and we get this horrifying indoctrinated part, which it reeks of what someone from North Korea might say.
Probably, yeah.
He loved us. He ruled us.
Yeah, and he protected us.
Yeah, and now he's gone. That is what made me feel like, okay, Elemency has to be a part of this.
That would make sense.
Because we also know that Elemency only appeared in the world at the same time as the mists appeared.
Yeah, we had those lessons of mists and mistborns and how one came from the other and so on. So yeah, makes sense. Anyway, Caesar tries to reason with him, saying that the Lord Ruler was a tyrant, but the Scar again.
Yeah, he says the whole loftus thing, and it's pure indoctrination. It's a millennium of indoctrination.
Yeah, and then the Scar just runs away from the village, which
and says, I could take him with me, but there is no point. He has food and water now. Maybe he'll live, maybe he'll die. I can't do anything really.
Yeah, and at which point Caesar just dashes towards Luthadel using his ferrocami.
And then he grabs his steel mind, one he's been filling for ages, and he just basically, as he put it on now, I bet you would have gotten the line, he ran as fast as he could for Luthadel.
Yeah.
Which is still gonna take a while.
Given how they run, because we know, we don't know how far he is, because Vin and Kelsey were able to run to the pits in like
they weren't even they were only partway through the central dominance.
Yeah, and if
Vin's in a Zayed is in a completely different dominance.
Yeah, so it's gonna
and
take
Luthadel is
a
at the
few days.
center of the central dominance.
Yeah, it's gonna take
him a while to get there.
Yeah. Anyway, in the epigraph, then Quan says that Alendi and his deeds convinced the world that he is the hero of ages, even though he doesn't know if Alendi knew it himself.
And I like, he does. It's not that he knew himself. It's not he doesn't know if Alendi believed himself. Yeah. And we know that was definitely he did not believe himself at times in his own logbook.
He had imposter syndrome to the T, like.
Yeah, which I like this contrast. Mm-hmm. This contrasts very well with it fully feels like, because Quan didn't have the internal monologue of Alendi, which is what the logbook effectively was. Yeah, he did not see the hesitation. Yeah, he only saw the self-assured warlord.
It's giving Percy Jackson in Percy Jackson and the Olympians versus Percy Jackson in the Heroes of Olympus.
It's like, we know Percy in reality is just a silly boy. Yeah. But to everyone else, he is the biggest, baddest badass the world has ever seen.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a funny contrast that it's so good. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how the chapter ends, basically, when we move on to the next chapter, which is an interesting one. Again,
I like this chapter a lot because it's not that much plot development. No. It's mainly character work.
Yeah, a lot of character
Ellen learning how to be a proper king, partly. Mm-hmm. And we get Vin finally getting a bit of understanding of what the Mist Ghost spirit, whatever is.
Yeah, and Vin is reading.
It's also Vin beginning to realize what's going on just a little bit. Yeah. And it's like effectively history repeating itself in a way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's not making the full connection. No. But yeah. And in a way, you know how she's the heir of the survivor? Yeah. In a way, the Lord Ruler was also a survivor.
In a way, yeah. That makes sense.
I do wonder if we're going to see some more things about the Cult of Kelsier at some point, because we've had one chapter of it, and it feels odd to not mention that more.
I mean, they are not going outside the palace yet, and not interacting with the sky.
No, that's the thing. We are stuck in the palace for so much of this.
Yeah. Anyway, when they go outside, we'll probably definitely get more of it. Anyway, we begin with Vin, who is...
I want them to start building a building. I just want them to start taking over one of the old buildings as a shrine to Kelsier.
Shrine of the Survivor. Anyway.
No. It will be a mighty cathedral.
The Cathedral of the Survivor. We already have the Church of the Survivor. Now we need a Cathedral of the Survivor.
Well, the church is just the name of the religion. The cathedral will be the building, and there shall be a bishop. The bishop will be a very unwilling Vin.
To be fair, makes sense.
To be fair, Vin might as well slot into the Pope role eventually, except she'd be one of those very unwilling popes. There have been a couple who really did not want to be Pope.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, we begin with Vin sprawled on the floor reading from the logbook that they have already discovered in the last book. And Usher is by her side, asking her why she is doing this, to which Vin explains the story of logbook and of Alendi Rashek, and that of the Well of Ascension. And Usher asks what she's looking for, and we found out what she's looking for, which is that the ghost in the mist that follows her is basically similar to the ghost that followed Alendi, or the shadows that followed Alendi, though there isn't much written about the ghost.
Because Alendi himself did not understand much about it. Yeah. I do love the fact that Alendi, not once in his entire logbook, ever wrote his own name.
Yeah. Yeah. Not even a single time.
Which makes sense, because it was never supposed to be read by anyone else, but it is so funny.
Dear Diary, Alendi here.
Which means they are going to learn the name Alandi from Sazed.
We do know that they learned the name Alandi from somewhere else, right?
No.
Oh no!
Vin literally in this chapter
Only
says
says
that the author of the book is nameless.
Yeah. The author of the book is nameless. Yeah.
Says it has the metal metal sheet copy with the introduction from Quan, where he says the name Alendi.
Yeah. Ben then says that Ursa should know about this, and Ursa says, yeah, she mentioned it once, probably. Anyway.
Yeah, I like how Ursa said, I get bored. Doesn't like look into reading something. Yes, he's a dog now. He could just ask Vin to kindly move a page every once in a while.
Yeah.
But that would require him being polite.
I don't think he does. He's capable of being polite. Vin also looks to find about the deepness, but while deepness is mentioned constantly, there isn't really much written about it.
There's bugger all about it, which, ooh, mystery about what the deepness is.
Yeah, I mean, it's constantly mentioned that deepness does this and deepness does that, but not really what deepness is. It's like we name some supernatural force something, and then we don't really understand that force. Basically the same thing. And Vin goes on to think about the similarities between Alendi and herself, and how and also reminisces over the times before the death of the Lord Ruler, and thinks about how she didn't really know where partnering up with Kelsier would lead her.
Which, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean...
But yeah, I like how Vin, notably does not like reading, is now forced to act like a mad professor.
Yeah.
If she had a pinboard or something, she'd be looking like she was connecting dots on it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, she does wonder if she's overreacting, but again, she doesn't really know what she would do about it if deepness comes, so...
Yeah.
Anyway, she continues her reading and sees that Alendi pronounces himself not mad, and thinks that she should do the same and believe her eyes rather than be forced to think that the mist spirit isn't real, as Ellen and the others have told her. Yeah, which makes sense. I mean...
But also, I like how Vin goes that she really needs Kelsier in this moment, and I don't think Kelsier would have known what to do either.
No. I mean, Kelsier is very much aware of the materialistic things that he can use to his advantage, but I don't think he's, as we talked about last book as well, Kelsier doesn't really know much about allomancy. And so in this case where the mist and the allomancy are concerned, I don't think Kelsier would be of much use either, contrary to what thinks.
Really. Sazed might be more use.
Yeah. I mean, Sazed knows much about the spiritual side of the allomancy and feruchemy and all these things, much more than Kelsier, so makes sense. But yeah,
basically, this entire section is basically comes down to two things have now happened in these chapters within. One is she's declared herself, I will not be afraid of the mist, and the other is I am not insane.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you are insane. You followed Kelsier.
Fair. I mean, Kelsier pronounced himself insane as well, so fair. Anyway, we move to Ellen, which is the more interesting part of this chapter.
Well, I want to point out that she's basically she should not be afraid of it. She should just accept she's not insane. She doesn't even say like, oh, the deepness isn't returning. It's just a possibility.
Yeah, makes sense.
But I like how in a way Ellen and Vin are taking traits from each other.
Yeah,
Ellen is becoming bolder. Is that we learned in the last chapter that the plan he presented to the crew was partly Vin's, which makes sense. It did feel rather reckless in a way.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Something Vin learned from Kelsier. And here Vin is studying.
Yeah.
Which is a very Ellen thing.
Yeah, and she is separating the logbook into piles of useful shit, not useful shit.
I mean, that's usually how you divide a book anyway, like when it comes to like trying to learn stuff. It's like, yes, I am learning here about, I don't know, the Circus Maximus. I don't think I need this chapter on how legions work all that much.
Fair. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, makes sense. Anyway, we move to Ellen, which is, I think, in my opinion, the more interesting part of this chapter. Who is...
It's more that the part with Vin was mostly discovering things we'd read in the last book.
Yeah.
But as a character, she needed to discover those things.
Yeah.
With this, we get sensible military policy from the besieging armies.
Yeah.
At last!
Finally, the season started as Ellen sees the army surrounding Luthadel, keeping guards or patrol posted to look at the other army, to look at the canals, to look at Luthadel and everything else in between, which makes sense.
Yeah, in effect, though, it is a bit odd how the odd situation is where the armies are located is there's nobody really to the south or southeast of the city in terms of the armies, which means those are the most lightly defended parts going to be the most lightly blocked parts.
You're gonna get 2 more armies.
No, I think with the way the map of the central of Lucidel looks like, I believe Strath is to the northeast.
Yeah,
especially with the dominances, and Set is to the west.
That would make sense.
There is an entire section to the south. The thing is with the river channel running straight through the city. But yeah, no, they have now blocked the city off.
Yeah, I don't think they have blocked every canal route, but mostly their own.
It's more they've blocked the gates.
Yeah.
But what I do like about this is like we learned something about canneries, and I like how just with how we know that the plantation system is only a few hundred years old, canneries have only been around for 50 years, which really does place the armies in the Napoleonic era without gunpowder.
Yeah, pretty much.
Still doesn't explain how they're able to maintain a force of 50,000 each in a ash-covered landscape with bugger all resources.
Yeah, especially that they have to move out the ash from time to time. So
yeah, it does feel in a way it makes sense, but it does feel like 50,000 might be the absolute maximum you can march with.
Probably, yeah.
Even with a cannery.
Yeah, makes sense. This is when Club joins Ellen and tells him that
I want to point out, because we've mentioned before, you said something about how Luthadel feels like the only part of the kingdom of Ellen is Luthadel. He literally mentioned that Ellen is cut off from the rest of his small
kingdom. Yeah. That he mentions now that, which makes sense given that you have 2 armies at your doorstep that you would not be able to be in contact with your other parts of the group.
And he should have invested in ravens, apparently.
Yeah.
To be fair, it is a little awkward how in a world where there's ash everywhere, they didn't develop a stronger communication system. It does feel a little odd.
Do they have birds?
I don't think we ever get a mention of like pigeons or anything.
I don't think we even haven't gotten a mention of poultry.
Birds in general are rarely mentioned.
Yeah.
I'm sure we have a mention of a bird here and there, but I can't remember birds being often mentioned.
I don't even remember birds being mentioned once at all.
I'm going to just look up the previous book.
Yeah, just
and look up the word birds. Don't worry, there are 2 mentions of the word birds in the previous book.
Okay.
They seem like scavenger birds. Okay. That's not a good sign, but they know about those, but not about anything else. And, oh look, carrion birds, which is just the same thing.
Oh dear God. I mean, yeah.
I'm looking at various birds groups.
Scavenger.
They know about hawk-faced and hawkish, but not hawk.
I mean, that would, again, if they have hawk...
There is no mention of eagle.
Look at falcon, because falconry is something that can be pretty popular.
No. There are vultures. That's not a good sign when they mention vultures and not anything else.
I mean,
but it does make sense that there'll be vultures around.
They have mentioned scavengers. Falcon? Yeah, falcon.
They don't mention the word falcon.
So yeah, we don't have like regular birds. We just have birds of prey.
No, they don't mention owls. The only thing you get with owl is things like lowly and slowly and growls. There is no mention of dove. No. There is no mention of raven.
No pigeon as well, I would guess.
And the only mention of crow is crowds. Wow, Sanderson loves the word crowds.
To be fair,
there are 56 mentions of the word crowds.
It's a 200,000 word book. I mean, 50 mentions make sense.
It's still a lot to use it.
Again, the Scar were gathering in crowds a lot.
Yeah, but there are no other birds mentioned.
Yeah, but imagine having birds of prey, but no.
But I want to point out the word dog isn't mentioned.
To be fair, we have a dog in this book as well. In this book.
Yes, but we didn't get any mention of any dogs in the first book. I don't think the word cat, there's a lot of words that use the phrase cat, but I don't think that's cats.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, but
the word hound doesn't appear either. The word pig is once mentioned. The word cow is also not used.
We do know that they have a meat product. So
there are animals. There is life because there's meat, but it's very evident that animals are not common.
Yeah, I mean, makes sense given the state
With
of
how
the
many?
world.
Well, yeah, but also consider we are in a city for most of our story, and we have seen the squares. Not a mention of a bird on the squares.
They're always covered in blood. I wouldn't think many birds would be there. But yeah,
there would absolutely. There's not even a mention of even when during executions, there's no mention of vultures above. There are sparingly few animals mentioned in the book and a half we've had so far. Well, book and 20%.
Yeah, I mean, again, they had birds of prey, so I would assume they have some form of smaller birds as well.
There must be something, but the fact only birds of prey mentioned is a vulture.
That is a scavenger. So birds of prey, I think they have a hawkish thing mentioned, which...
Well, no, they mention the term hawkish.
Yeah.
As in somebody looks hawkish.
Yeah.
They don't use it in the sense of the animal.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how little animal mentions we've had.
So we mostly just have carrion birds or scavenger birds. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's very interesting.
Anyway, so basically to say that they have very little means of communication other than...
Yeah, I've not even the word chicken appears in the first book.
No. Anyway.
So...
Where were we?
Yeah. We were at Clubs arriving to meet with Ellen.
Yes.
We went on another weird tangent, but
it's fine.
You can even cut that out and just say, we just went to look up some words in the previous book regarding animals. There are very few.
We'll find that. It'll be fine. Anyway.
Alright, let's continue this.
Okay. Clubs arrives and he tells Alan that Alan better be up to the task regarding his plans because he is the focal point of the plan. And everything depends on him because, well, he has to play both sides. Anyway.
Yeah.
Ellen thinks about this and about Tyndall's words, and we learn that his requests for a meeting with both the kings haven't really been answered yet. And Ellen asks Clubs if he's a good king. And Clubs replies that he has known worse kings and he has known better ones as well. And that every man is made of his situation, which, fair enough. He goes on to explain how Kelsier was made from the pits of Hatsin, and so...
Yes. I want to point out that Alan makes another mistake as king.
Which is to ask opinion.
He's avoided the assembly meeting.
Yes.
He might just have made a bad mistake.
Yes. Especially given that him not being there makes it an odd number, and we know merchants listen to the nobility, and the nobility are acting as vultures, so yeah. Yeah,
he should have attended that meeting, no matter what. The king cannot avoid because he's made himself a member of the body. He should be attending every meeting.
Yeah, that might be a huge mistake on his part. Anyway,
but
yeah, Clubs
gives some very sage words.
Yeah,
with regarding everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair enough. He says that this is Ellen's pits of Hatsin, and that whatever Ellen...
Will this be your pits of Hatsin?
Yeah.
Basically, will he snap and be like Kelsey, or will he break?
Yeah, and all they can do is just wait and see. Which, fair enough.
Yeah, this is the most. I would almost say kind. It's Clubs, but it's the most helpful Clubs has been.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, and
which makes me suspicious of Clubs, and I don't like that.
Anyway, this is when Tyndall arrives and Ellen goes to meet her. Apparently, as we said before, Tyndall is very well known amongst the terraced people, and the other terraced men confirm...
Yeah, it's interesting how she's known as a fairly important person back home.
She's also not a conjurer because she used ferrochemy, which makes sense. Anyway, today's lesson is about clothing. And Tyndall has brought us...
At which point, admittedly, I did roll my eyes at those words.
Why?
Because it's clothing.
I mean, fair enough, but still, he has to look the part, and which is what Tyndall says.
Obviously, and I spotted it pretty quickly where this was going, because we have a very recent reminder of a wartime leader not wearing suits.
Yeah.
The fact that Alan is now going to be wearing a uniform for the rest of the siege immediately went to me when that makes sense. Yeah, the leader of the. It would be awkward if he's constantly in neatly pressed suits. And looking disheveled is also a bad idea.
Yeah, he has to look presentable.
He needs to exude confidence, and a uniform helps a lot with that.
Yeah. Anyway, Ellen tries to argue, but Tinville again chides him, saying that
doesn't work.
Yeah, he shouldn't argue, but command. And then he commands. Later on, not yet, but yes. Tidwell says that Ellen is again not going to wear suits, but uniform, as you said, and that will project his image as the protector of the scar. Given.
Yeah, but what I also really like is that Tidwell points out you are an officer, you are a warrior.
Yeah, you are
because you are the commander in chief of your army.
Yeah,
that is exactly what he is. It's the reason why, even to this day, monarchs very often will wear a military uniform.
Yeah, they also undergo military training most.
Very often, yeah. Which is very different from presidential systems, where generally the president is the commander in chief, but holds no official role in the military.
Yeah,
which is why the military's under civilian control is also always very funny, in my opinion.
Yeah,
we've done something very weird in the Netherlands where we've removed the monarch's role as head of the armed forces, but it does get a little awkward. But the British monarch is the commander-in-chief of the British armed forces, and they all swear in the king's name.
Yeah, they're just
funny in the Netherlands where our ships are still called His Majesty's ship. When the king has no formal role with the military.
I think it's just an honorary naming thing that has stuck.
Yeah, it's the thing. Yeah, it's the one. It's an honorary thing.
Yeah, that usually happens. Tradition prevails over change. Anyway, Ellen dons his uniform and wears a cape, much to the chagrin of Edna Mode.
Generals absolutely have to wear a cape in this. I do like it that the way this uniform is described, it feels like it's a modern uniform, semi-modern, very 18th, 19th century. But the cape makes it more medieval.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. And I'm imagining those one-sided capes that you have that clips on one side.
Oh, you're thinking very Renaissance here.
Okay, so even that,
One-sided capes are very much more towards the Renaissance.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. But yes, Tinville then orders.
There's also there are buttons on it which are made out of wood, and I like how that's being kept because it was a thing obviously where Rashik was hiding because he flaunted his stuff, but it also just makes perfect sense to not wear jewelry or metals in general.
I mean, he is a monarch, and given he is under war, he is in constant threat.
You don't want to give the assassins any resources.
Yeah, exactly. And
would not surprise me if Vin has made sure his study has the minimal amount of metal in it.
That would make sense.
There's also I do find it interesting that there's a shield design over his breast. It's like, okay, interesting, and it just made you wait. Do the noble houses in this not have coats of arms?
They might not have actually.
I don't think we ever get any mention of coats of arms.
No, I don't think we have a single coat of arms.
There is no heraldry.
No.
How the hell did anybody ever remember who everyone was?
By name and by fame.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tinville then orders for his hair to be cut.
But I want to point out the colors of his outfit. White.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a very deliberate choice.
Yes.
Because it means he exudes exceptionalism.
Yeah. And you might
He's
remember
wearing pure white.
You might remember the emperor, Lord Ruler, was also wearing pure white in a black carriage when he arrived in Luthadel.
It's a sign of imperial power in this world. But in our world, it was purple.
Yeah.
For this one, it's white because it's the hardest to clean.
Yeah, especially given how much asphalt there is. Yeah, makes sense that white would be to establish dominance. In our world, it was purple because purple was one of the hardest colors to acquire. But yeah.
Also, this is a full cape and not a one shoulder cape because it's attached to both shoulders.
Okay, that makes sense.
So this is a cape.
Cape, yeah. But yeah, Tinville then orders for his hair to be cut To which he finally
and Alan's
commands,
like, no!
No.
Which, I want to point out, makes Vin and Alan very similar.
Yeah.
They both don't like haircuts.
No. I mean, to be fair, Vin likes it short, but it's
But
not
she
like
doesn't like it.
Yeah, it's not like she doesn't like haircut. It's that she doesn't like haircut to a length of this which she had during when she was playing Valette.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But what I do like is that Tinsel does agree to not cut his hair when he commands her to not cut my hair.
Yeah, but then he goes and sees himself in the mirror and sees how much of an improvement
and he's got disheveled long hair, which really does not fit with a military uniform.
No, so he finally allows for his hair to be cut.
To allow it to be cut. And yeah, I like the way it's described. His hair's now more like yours.
Yeah,
probably a little shorter.
Yeah, I would argue a little shorter as well. But yeah, makes sense.
Easy to make. It's not like mine, which it's getting a little too long.
See, if mine gets longer, it gets very much loopy, and I don't like that.
This is how I know it's too long.
But yes.
And I can only have a haircut in 2 weeks. This is great.
I had a haircut today, but that's fine. Again, Tinville then offers him a crown to wear, and it's not very ostentatious. It's made out of wood. It's
not simple. A crown. I want to point out a circlet is not a crown.
Does it say circlet? I mean, it says crown, but I don't remember it saying the circlet.
It's a loop of silver painted wood.
Okay, so that's basically a circlet.
That is a circlet.
That is basically a circlet.
That is a circlet.
Yeah.
That is not a crown. It's also not a coronet.
No, it's a tiara.
It's a circlet.
It's a tiara.
No, it's also not a tiara.
I know. It was a joke. But yeah.
But it is quite funny.
It's funny. It's basically to single him out in a crowd.
It's the single out. It's also called a crown because it's what one thing people know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he has 7 uniforms, one for every day of the week.
Yeah.
Don't know why this world is a 7-day week, but it apparently does.
Again, it's the simple thing of the known. We just know, we are familiar with that, and so it's easier to use that.
It could be worse because arguably the weakest world building in Tolkien's world is the fact that the months have the same names.
No, that is, again, if you read the appendix, it's
I'm well aware. It's still weak.
To be fair, hobbits have a 12-month calendar with 30 days each and 5 intercalary days. So
Yes, but it's more the fact that every month is named just normal in the book is just not working, in my opinion.
Okay, it's a translation. It's a translation from the Hobbit names.
Yeah.
You get the Hobbit names at the end in the appendix.
Names work when you use something like months, which we have a definitive meaning for, and very few of the names in Lord of the Rings are fully the same as in ours.
Most of them are translations, to be fair, because all the 4 hobbits that you get in the Lord of the Rings, they're named translations.
But don't think people are regularly called Frodo.
Fair.
The only normal name is Sam. And even he is actually called Samwise.
Merry is also pretty normal, I would say.
But even that his name is Meriadoc.
Yeah, but...
And Pippin is a normal name, but he's called Peregrine.
Yes.
Peregrine. The nicknames are normal, the actual names are not.
Fair.
The problem is that we have... And you've actually get situation, and it's December.
Again, it's a translation.
I know it's a translation. That doesn't mean it takes me out of it, because everything else is still fantasy, and then you get the months, and they're just our months.
I would argue it doesn't take me out.
You can keep the same, like, oh, it's 12 months, 365, blah blah blah, and give them different names.
Fair.
It takes me out of it because everything else is not that way. We don't get, and this character's actual name was Boromir. For this book, we're calling him Brandon.
I mean, we do get with Bilbo and Frodo.
But even those names aren't normal.
Yeah, fair. They're not very.
We don't get, this character's actual name was Elrond, but here he's called Jack.
Fair.
Or Alfred, or something like that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I'm like, it's very odd because everything else is still fantasy based, even if it's a translation technically.
Yeah.
Except the month names.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yes, it's a complaint I've always had about that stuff. It doesn't track with the rest of the world building.
Fair, but I don't have that much of a complaint with it. Mostly because at least there is an explanation. as to why it's the
There is an explanation that 99.9% of people will never know about.
Fair. That is true. I don't think many people read the appendices either, which is weird. Why would you not read the appendices?
Yes, this is why I went 99.9% and not 99%. Anyway.
But yeah.
Let's go back to... it's all because I started saying that they had a 7-day week.
Yeah. So he has 7 days week, one outfit for every day. The only thing he gets to change is the color of the cape.
What I also want to point out is I like how the circlet is painted silver and not gold.
Yeah.
It's a very obvious sign. Gold in this world is still gold.
Yeah.
Silver makes him look... It's still a crown, but it's silver.
It also matches the color scheme of his dress.
Gold works really well with white. In moderation.
In moderation, yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, he gets to change the color of his cape. We discovered it white.
Yeah. Tyndall then says that his appearance will fool people for now, but Ellen also has to change his mannerisms to be entirely believable. And
yeah, and it becomes a bit awkward in that he's he thinks this is it.
Yeah.
And I was just being like, oh, for goodness sake, Alan.
Yeah, he doesn't understand how necessary it is for him to project power.
Yeah, he doesn't understand why he needs to do it.
Yeah, because for now he is content with the assembly, but we have seen assembly is starting to be a bit more independent thinking and not have Ellen.
Yeah, but I also think Alan's finally he begins with a question and then corrects himself. Instead, he gives a command.
Yeah.
What I like about this is that Alan absolutely hates giving commands. That's very clear.
Yeah.
Hey, guess who also hates giving commands? It's Vin.
Yeah.
It's another thing where they are very similar, but in different ways.
Yeah.
Vin will give commands,
yeah.
but she hates giving commands also because she's forced into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Ellen finally agrees.
Is going to get weapons training from a dueling master, and I like how the way it's going with regards to him not sparring with Vin and Ham. It's not, oh goodness, we can't have you seen beaten up by a girl. No, it's just we can't have the king see beaten up by anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing that we talked about earlier, how Alan absolutely needs to learn to defend himself, even if he will be attacked by Mistborn.
Yeah.
Alan gets annoyed at how much Tyndall is talking down to him, but Tyndall doesn't really say anything other than Alan will have to fake being a king.
You said it.
Yeah, not I. Anyway, Alan obviously will have to fake.
Basically, Alan for now has to fake it.
Yeah, fake it till you make it, basically. While they're talking, Captain Demu enters, saying that a messenger has arrived. Alan guesses from Set, but it turns out to be from Venture.
Yep. And I just, oh, bugger me. I don't want to see Straff again.
I mean, we are going to quite a bit.
Yes, I know.
Ellen then asks Demu about where Ven is, and he says in her room, which surprises Ellen.
I like how even to Demu he refers to Vin as Lady Vin.
Yeah. Yeah, he has started to, you can see Demu has... To be fair,
but it's also just this is what when Vin thinks about if she's actually a noblewoman, she is.
Absolutely.
She is outright a member of the nobility. So Ellen's immediate excuse. Why is she in her quarters?
Yeah.
I also like she never stays there. I like the implication of Vin is supposed to sleep in those quarters. She doesn't.
I mean, we learned about it earlier when Vin says that while she has her quarters, the only time she is in her quarters is when she's sleeping, and she doesn't really sleep for very long. Other times she's with Ellen.
The implication we get here from Ellen is that she's spending most of her night with Ellen anyway.
Yeah, just watching him work with Fair.
Her quarters, she never stays there. That's gonna be it stays there. That clues me into, she's just staying with Ellen most of the time, which is not helping the mistress rumors.
Pretty much. Then he dismisses Demu and tells Tyndall that he'll learn how to be a good king, basically. Tyndall tells him that he needs to be deserving of the trust of the people as the chapter sort of comes to an end.
Yeah, what would really help Ellen, like Ellen's can't isn't the actual general of the army. That's Collapse.
That's close.
What
Yeah.
Ellen can do is meet with the Scar.
Meet with the Scar.
Ellen
Encourage
can
them.
do what Kelsier did.
Yes, exactly.
And it's meet with Scar. Listen to their concerns directly as king.
Mhm.
Hold court,
Mhm.
an open court.
Yeah.
Instead of just only at the assembly, hold open courts at least once a week where the public can actually put their grievances before their king.
Yeah.
It's a bit like what the Starks would do.
Yeah.
It's anyone in Wintertown can come in and speak to the Lord about an issue they might be having. That is a good way of encouraging. It's why the Starks are so loved by their own small folk.
Yeah, I mean the only difference.
I don't see Walder Frey doing it.
I don't think Walder Frey even leaves
And
the castle.
It's also like the Errands wouldn't do it.
No.
Of the great houses of Westeros, the only ones I get, the only one of the actual great house I can still also see doing it are the Tullys.
I also
because they also seem to have a closer relationship with their own small folk.
I can also see Martells doing it because the Dawn is very united.
Yeah, Martells as well. Martells also seems to have a relatively close relationship with their small. It basically, it's the youngest of the great houses in the Tullys, the second youngest in the form of the Martells, because the Greyjoys have been a great house before. They have ruled the Iron Islands before. And the Starks, the oldest of the great houses.
Yeah, the others quibble a bit too much to care about these things.
Well, the Tyrells think they're better than anyone else. So do the Lannisters.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Errands are all high and mighty, quite literally. And honestly, I think the Baratheons might be a bit too grumpy.
I can see the Baratheons sort of doing it, but not really caring about it too much.
Depending on the ruler. The Laughing Storm, yes. Robert, or Stannis, or Renly, no.
No, Stannis would. I think Stannis would.
Stannis would, but he would hate it.
He would hate it, but Stannis would.
And like, no, like the Greyjoys definitely, but the Targaryens,
no,
they do it in a way. The Crown does it in the Seven Kingdoms.
Yeah,
it's not the same as Winterfell. When you get the thing of the Hand of the King sitting on the throne, it's very different.
It's the Crown one is very formal, which I don't think something that happens in.
But it's all that's also just a flaw of the world building of A Song of Ice and Fire. It's for a city the size of King's Landing that there is not a single bit of organization is weird. I think there are no
isn't King's Landing the same size of Luthadel with 1 million each?
No, King's Landing. No. In the show it is.
Okay, yeah. I'm conflating the show and the books. Yeah,
in the show, for some reason, they inflated the population of King's Landing to 1 million. It's 500,000.
Yeah, still quite a big population.
There are 500,000. There are 500,000 in King's Landing. There are 50,000 in White Harbor.
Yeah. So.
And White Harbor is the 4th or 5th largest city in the realm, and there are only 4 or 5 cities in the realm.
Makes sense that King's Landing is so populated.
But yeah,
that's how the chapter ends with the
epigraph. The ending it ends with trust. Alan needs to earn the trust of his people.
Yeah,
and then Alan might as well sprint out to get Vin.
Pretty much,
because he rushes out, and it's like that's kind of what Tyndall was mentioning with regards to your walking. Yes. You are either being slovenly or in a rush. What you need to have is a determined pace.
Yeah.
A king shouldn't run. He should exude confidence in all circumstances.
Yeah.
That's not what Alan is doing. That's not what Alan is doing at all here.
It'll take him a bit to learn the exact workings of being a king. But yeah. Yeah. And then we get the epigraph, which is very short. We do get the name Anticipation because it's mentioned in capital. It's another one of those capital. It's the anticipation for the prophecy, basically. Yeah, I think so. And the Hero of Ages. Yeah, he talks about how the Terrace belief has spread far and beyond the borders of Terrace. Which I just want to point out is kind of his fault. I mean, he went around looking for the Hero of Ages. He went around looking for the Hero of Ages, found the guy he thought might be it, and then the guy found out about it and started spreading the rumor himself. I don't think he spread the rumor. Although, most of with the way we know Landy, he might have just mentioned that. Oh yeah, apparently the Terrace folk think I'm some prophesized hero, and that's how the rumor spread. Yeah. The way Alandi speaks his own logbook does not speak of someone who would be bragging. No. Yeah. But yeah, that was it. That's it. We'll do 2 chapters next time. Yeah.
I think so. I think they're pretty long.
Yeah.
The first one is 13 pages long on my copy, so that's relatively long. Yeah. I'll check, but yeah, both half an hour.
Yeah. So we'll do 2 chapters next time.
No, sorry. Yeah, just shy of an hour in total. That's fine.
Yeah. So we'll do 2 chapters next time.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Well, that was that.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.